There. Now can you see me and hear me? Helps if I hit the button to add myself to my own live. Oh, I'm a mess today. Okay, cool. All right. So today I want to talk about, as y'all know, I want to discuss if words have power. And I spent a little bit of time today putting my notes in my Kindle so that I didn't have to use my written notes. And it is giving me my notes backwards. So bear with me because I have all my notes in printed sheets. So it's going to be a little scatterbrained tonight. I have a little bit of a headache, so please just bear with me. Um, do words have power? And I'm not talking about the abracadabra, the rabbit comes out of the hat. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about the things you say, do they affect other people? And they do, both positive and negative words that you put out into the world affects people. And this honestly starts all the way to when you're a little tiny being in your mom's belly. And why I say this is not that you understand the words, but you still hear the words when the mother or father is speaking to you in your belly or their belly, not in your belly, in their belly. Um, you start understanding that words are a form of communication, of comfort, of encouragement by the way that they talk to you, by the way you feel that vibration and you hear them when you're in your mom's belly. Then as you get um as you're born and you become a baby, you start recognizing voices and tones and so forth with your parents, um, in ways of them singing lullabies to you or um, laughing with you or making noises. And these are all um, should all be positive things that starts forming you into really who you become right from the get-go. It starts building your character. And it sounds strange, but if you're always hearing comforting words and you're always hearing happiness and positivity and encouragement, it's going to help you become who you are as you grow up. Um, just so you know, I'm not going to be able to get to the chat right away, so I will get back to y'all's comments, but I want to try to get through this the best I can with the circumstances I have. When you get into childhood, the words that you hear from your parents and your teachers are going to even start forming you even more. And when I say this, I mean, if you have a teacher that is very critical of you and constantly negative that you can't do anything right and you're not getting the right answers, you just don't know the right answers, those are things that are going to start being um, just put into you and will continue to fester as you get older and mold you into start thinking that you're not good enough to um, do things right or do things correctly or do things to where someone else likes what you're doing. But at the same token, if you have um, the parents that are telling you, you know, you can do anything that you put your mind to, or, you know, you could be an astronaut if you want to be an astronaut, then it's going to continue to keep you positive and strive for those goals. So those words that you have, starting just as a little bean in the belly, will continue to form you as you get older. And this includes when you get into your childhood, the words that you also read in books and the words that you see in cartoons. We don't realize it, but those things that the stories we were read or the cartoons that we watched helped form who we became, depending on what you read or what you watched. And I have friends that are in Europe, and a lot of people do not realize this, but a lot of the nursery rhymes and children's stories in Europe are actually way, way different than the nursery rhymes and the children's stories that we have here in the United States. And I can tell you firsthand from seeing them myself because I actually grew up in Germany for quite a while. My first 9 years was in Germany, and the children's stories there were more to kind of scare children to deter them from bad behavior than it always having a happy ending like they do here in the US. And I still remember those stories, even though I was 3, 4 years old. I remember those stories, and some of them are quite frightening. Um, then when you get into your teens and you start finding out who you are and getting out into the world, you hear the words, from your friends then, and not just your parents. You're starting to get those encouragements from your friends, or you're starting to get harsher words from the bullies that you go to school with if you were ever picked on. And those words hurt. Even words that you heard as a child or a teen, they go with you through your life. They never go away. They scar you, unless you can push past them and know that words don't make you who you are. You can change what people say about you. Prove them wrong. And I actually always like to do that. If someone said I couldn't do something, I would prove them wrong. If somebody said that I was never going to amount to anything, I would prove them wrong. But you have to be able to have that encouragement from your parents or your close friends to be able to get you to see that the harsh words are nothing compared to the encouraging words that you hear. Also, in your teens, the words that you hear in movies and the words that you hear in music, especially in today's times, form how our teens are growing up. And most of us understand that the music and the movies that we saw back when we were younger are way, way different and more violent and more vulgar than than they were when we were children. The ones now are just way worse. And I know I probably sound like my mother saying that, things were a lot better when I was younger, but it really is true. Now that I'm the age she was when she used to say that to me, we didn't have the stuff that the kids are being fed now. And it's all those words telling them they have to be rich, they have to have all the nice cars, they have to have the mansion, they have to have the money and the popularity and the fame. And that's not necessary. You don't need all that to be successful in life at all. But that's what these words and these movies and music are really feeding these children. So we have to be mindful and encourage these kids that that's not what you need, and tell them, that they can be anything, but if they don't succeed in fame and music and so forth, that doesn't mean that they're nothing. Um, we still need the doctors and the lawyers and the pastors, and those are all still successful jobs, or YouTube creators to help people out. Those are all things that you can still go out and reach people. You don't have to have all the bling and the $50,000 car. That's not what life is about. Same thing with young adults, and um, everything from a child up to being an adult will form you of how you communicate and how you take other people's words to heart, whether it be encouragement or criticism. And it follows you with your relationships and with work with your coworkers. And it can either help you or hinder you. So if you're at work, if you're used to getting constructive criticism when you're in school and you learn to adapt and succeed, then if you get constructive criticism at work, it doesn't affect you the same way as someone who was always criticized growing up. It's, hey, I have to fix this and I can do better. Um, so it's really words, no matter where you are, they can be supportive, they can be loving, encouraging, understanding, patient, or they can be critical and abusive and judgmental and combative and humiliating. And you have to choose what words you use to put out into the world, no matter who you're speaking to, whether it be a stranger, a coworker, a child, a family member, your significant other. You have to choose your words wisely, um, because you can't take your words back. Um, as adults, we communicate in the ways that we were taught growing up, whether it be by parents, family members, friends, teachers, entertainment, or media. And we can choose to continue to follow what we've learned to either hurt somebody or to help somebody. So if you were a child and you grew up in a very abusive, verbally abusive household where you never did enough that was good enough, where they told you you were stupid or you didn't amount to anything or you wouldn't amount to anything, you were never good enough. You're going to A lot of people carry that on with them and they share that with their own children unless you break that chain. Um, and that's with a lot of things that you grew up with. You have to break that chain and you have to realize that isn't really how you should talk to people. It doesn't give people life. It doesn't help people. It hurts them. And you want to try to keep people positive and build them up instead of break them down and hurt them and hold them down, especially if it's just to make you feel better. That's just not okay. Um if you go into the gospel, God says to love your neighbor as thyself. And that also includes in how you speak to each other. It's not just in actions. And you should, in your actions, treat people the same way you want to be treated. But it's also in your words. You don't want to be snarky with your neighbor and just be nasty to them. You want to encourage them and help them and um, just help them with words if they're struggling. It makes a difference. And the words that we say, the words that we hear, the words that we read have a tendency to control our actions. And what I mean by this is if you're constantly, I'm going to say, watching the news and it's always negative in the news, um, you're going to start only seeing the negative. I don't know a whole lot of news articles that put anything positive out for the world to see. It's always negative. And if you're constantly feeding yourself with that negativity, you're going to start believing that negativity and only seeing the negative outcomes and things. Even where there's positive, you're going to look for the negative because that's all you're feeding yourself. If you go into the newspaper and you only read the obituaries every day, you're just going to constantly want to look for death. But if you look for the cartoons, you're going to look for things that make you laugh and chuckle and it's the positive, it's the little things that make you happy. So you want to try to stay away from the negativity and the negative words, not just that people speak to you or that you speak, but also that you read, that you watch, that you listen to, all the way around. Speaking or hearing negativity all the time will turn you into a negative person if you let it. In Psalms 34:13, we are actually warned of this, and it says that you need to keep your tongue from speaking evil and your lips from telling lies. And these kind of go hand in hand. If you're a very negative person and you're constantly doing the wrong thing, um, some people go in and if they're called out on it, they're gonna tell a lie to cover themselves up instead of being truthful and honest. And honesty sometimes hurts, but you always want to make sure that you're speaking the truth in a kind way. I'm not saying, if an outfit looks really bad on your significant other, don't tell them, yeah, you look like a cow. That's not very nice. Just tell them, I think there's a better outfit that complements you better. There's ways to say things while being honest without hurting feelings. Same thing with children. I was very big on telling my son that he wasn't a bad child. His behaviors he chose to do were bad, um, or to make good decisions because he wasn't a bad kid. Even though he got into trouble, he made poor decisions. And there's a huge difference. Huge difference. If you make poor decisions, you're going to try to make better decisions. If you're being told you're a bad person, chances are you don't know how to not be a bad person in that person's eyes that told you you're a bad person. Don't use your words to cause hurt, hate, or division. We have enough of that in the world. So don't become part of the problem and follow this plan of causing the hate and the division. And this is something I preach a lot about in the media with pointing fingers at different sides and, oh, I'm this side, I'm that side. We all bleed red. Period. We all bleed red. We were all born, we all die. We may make poor choices and we may follow other people and making bad decisions, but we still all bleed red. And you want to try to reach out and be positive towards that person and help them to see things more positively instead of following the masses in the division and the negativity. It takes one person to start that domino effect of positivity because we have enough dominoes that fall on the negative side. We need to try to lift each other up and unite in a positive way, really. Um, Help each other because if it comes down to it and we only have each other, you want to have that relationship to be able to help each other, speak to each other, know your neighbor, um, know people across the world, so forth. Um, for uh, another reference to um, your tongue having power, your words having power is in Proverbs 13:3. Those who control their tongues will have a long life. Opening your mouth can ruin everything. And this is so very true. If you go out and you speak terribly about somebody, um, you really could ruin their life. If you're at work and you're starting rumors, that person could lose their job and in turn lose their house and everything that they own just because you started a rumor that you may or may not know the whole story to. You may say something about someone's children that's not true and they could lose their children. I mean, you have to be very careful with the words that you say and what you're speaking is positive. You don't want to hurt people to where they lose things. Um, Bruises and broken bones heal. Hurtful words cannot be taken back, no matter how hard you try. And sometimes words can scar a person for life. And it may not seem like it bothers them on the surface, but when you say something harsh to somebody, it can have a tendency to resurface often whenever something comes along that reminds them of whatever it is that they heard negative, and you can't take it back. It's like that whole video with the tube of toothpaste where a mother, had the child squeeze all this toothpaste out of the tube, and the kid did it just fine, and then the mom said, "Okay, now put it all back in." And the kid's like, "Well, I can't do that." Same thing with your words. Once you've said it, you've said it. You can't take it back. And whether you were saying it in the spur of the moment or because you were angry or irritated or had a bad day or you don't feel well, it doesn't make it okay. You just have to be very careful what you say um, to people because it sticks with them and it hurts. Whether they tell you it hurts or not, it hurts. Speaking positive and encouraging all the time will mold you into a positive person that can make a difference in someone else's life for the better, as well as change your outlook. And what I mean by this is, and this is silly, but sometimes there are people, and I've been one to do it, where I will look in the mirror and I'll be like, today is going to be a great day. That's how I start my day sometimes. Today is going to be a great day. No matter what, today is going to be a great day. And if you keep repeating this and hearing yourself say this, even though you feel silly at the time, you will start believing the words that you're repeating. I'm awesome. I can do anything. Today's going to be a great day. I'm going to make a difference. Just say this to yourself over and over again, even if you're in the car. And like I said, you might feel silly, but subconsciously it is sinking in and you will start believing and acting on the words that you're saying because there is power in them, especially in repetitive words, which is why, like the subliminal and the repeating. If you were in school and you would repeat textbooks, you would remember stuff. It's power in the words. They sink in, even if you don't realize it. The words that you choose have either a positive or a negative impact on a person's life. We've all heard the saying that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. And truly, that's a great rule to live by. That's something that is from our generation. I don't know if they still say it now, but it really was. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. And there's a reason for that. You can't take your words back, and you don't want to hurt anyone by saying the words that you're thinking. So it's kind of a pause, bite your tongue, and either say nothing or find another way to say it. Words should never be used in a way to tear down someone or to make them feel bad in order to make you feel or look good. And this is very popular today, especially in jobs where people um, will say things to make a coworker look like they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing or not good enough, and will make it look like the person saying it is doing an awesome job, and they we call it stepping on people to move up, and that's just not okay to do either. Don't do that. Don't do that. Still going through my notes. Hold on one second. I am live. Sorry, guys. Um, so the negativity in the world is kind of how the world conditions people, in my opinion, to divide people and keep them fighting, keep them hating each other, and um, it's not how we should be doing it. It's not how God wants us to talk to each other. It's not how God wants us to treat each other. No matter which side you're on, you should be good to each other. You can have your differences, but have them respectful. Don't tear each other down. Don't treat each other like crap or um, turn against each other. Don't do that. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to hold tight together. Um, Speaking kindly to each other has the tendency to help people struggling heal, and it can be something as simple as if somebody's hurting, for you to tell them that they're not alone or that you understand what they're going through. Something as simple as that has the ability to heal their hurt and help them move forward, just to know that they're not going through something alone. Um, it's it's very comforting to know that someone understands and can be there with you through your struggles, even if it's just a stranger that tells you, sees you struggling with something, is like, you know what, I just did that last week. Let me help you. Those little things help people get through those tiny things and the big problems in the world. Proverbs 16:24, kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. Kind words can heal so many things, even if you're lonely, if you're depressed, if you're sad, if you're upset. Just some comforting words sitting on a bench with somebody. I used to do this actually with someone that I used to work with. I would sit on the bench and we would just chat for the entire lunch and we would talk about whatever they were going through. And it was nice for them to be able to get things off their chest, and it was great to be able to comfort and tell them they're not alone in whatever they went through. And even though I was at least a decade older than them, that I understood because I've been there, and help them with how to get through things. Um, you should lift up people's spirits, lighten their worries by giving them encouragement. Cheer someone up that's down with powerful, positive words. And it can be words as simple as, I'm here for you, or you're not alone. I understand what you're going through. I'm here to help you, or I love you. So many people are alone that you don't hear I love you very much. Even if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife, there's still a friendship that's a whole different kind of love. And you can love someone without being in a intimate relationship with them. And I think a lot of people have forgotten that love can be amongst friends without having to go to that next level of relationship. Um, if you're going to answer your phone in the middle of the night because your friend calls you and needs help and needs some advice, and you answer no matter what, no matter how tired you are, chances are you have some love for that person, and maybe they need to hear it once in a while. Jesus showed his love for others by blessing and serving the poor, the sick, the distressed. He told his disciples, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." And he comforts us. That's John 15:12. And then in Second Corinthians chapter 1, verse 4, he comforts us in all of our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort that God gives us. So when you're struggling and you're hurting and you're at a dead end and you don't know what to do, and you go into your prayer closet and you take your time, your intimacy with God, and you ask him for guidance, you ask him for help, you ask him for comfort, for healing, for understanding, for forgiveness. These are the same things that everything that you're asking God to show you, you should be showing others. Everything that he wants you to have, you should want others to have. Share that love. All the love he gives you, share it with the people around you, whether it be the lady at Taco Bell or the gas station attendant or the man on the corner that's asking for change. You share your love by words, by actions, by just lifting them up. Sometimes it's just a smile. A smile, there's 1,000 words in a smile without even saying anything. Just be kind. Be mindful of how you speak to people. Your words that you say to them could impact them for life. And this goes for anyone that you speak to, but especially be mindful of how you speak to loved ones. If you truly love someone, you will not want to say anything that would hurt them, discredit them, or humiliate them. A lot of times when you're in that tense moment with your loved one, you really have to pause before you open your mouth because Satan will put something into your head that you should say because of the sin of pride and you want to be the bigger person and better than them, but you're hurting them. You have to pause before you speak. Is what you're saying something that God would say to you? It's a good thing to really live by. What you're speaking, would that be something that God would say to you? And if it's not, you probably shouldn't say it because it's probably going to hurt the person. And if you love someone, you shouldn't say things that would hurt them, humiliate them, tear them down, make them feel like trash. You don't do it. It's just not okay. In First Corinthians 13, chapter 4 through 7, speaks about love and goes along with the words that you say as well. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Clear communication is key. Kind communication is a golden key. Positive words can make the huge impact on anyone and everyone that you speak them to. And you may not even realize it. You could literally save someone's life by saying something kind to them. And I'm telling you this from personal experience of someone who maybe disheartened or they were ready to give up, and me reaching out to just see if they need help kept them from following through with their plans. It just took a few words of, "What can I do to help you?" to stop them from doing something that couldn't have been changed. You couldn't have reversed it. So never hold back on kind words, never hold back on positivity. Um, if you do say something that is hurtful, um, and you can't take it back, obviously, you can't take your words back, but if you do say something that possibly could have hurt someone, you may offend someone or sin against family and friends. And if this happens, Christians are supposed to confess their sins to God and apologize to that person. Everything we do must be sincere. Um, when we were kids, if we got in trouble and we were told to apologize, a lot of kids would just be like, I'm sorry. And it meant nothing. So, sincerity and wholeheartedly believing in your apology means the world to people. Um, True love would fix their relationship with others and pray for others instead of keeping pride and stubbornness in their hearts. Don't let guilt linger in your heart. Go apologize, say I'm sorry, and make things right. Don't just act like nothing was ever said and it'll go away, because it doesn't work like that. Words hurt, and they can hurt for a long time. And apologizing doesn't always mean that you're wrong and the other person is right. Apologizing means that you care for the person enough that you acknowledge that you said something hurtful. You're willing to put your pride aside and make things right. Admit that the words were harsh. Maybe not what you were arguing about was necessarily wrong, but the words that you used to express were harsh. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 23 through 24, um, God talks about, if you're coming to the altar to offer a gift, and you remember that someone is against you or that you're having a spat with someone, before you come and make your offering, you are supposed to go and make things right before you come in front of God. And that should really be with anyone. I remember my mother always telling me, don't ever go to bed angry. And that is so true. You don't want to go to bed angry, because you wake up angry and you may have dreams that pertain to that anger that make you even more angry. Um, Always make things right before you go to sleep, or it just festers and it gets worse. Even though it's something minor, it can really turn into something huge. I'm sorry is one of the most powerful sayings. The words are some of the most powerful words that bond a relationship together, stronger than ever. And I forgive you are also words that enforce that bond. My thought is God forgives us for much worse. Um, Once we confess and ask for forgiveness, we sin every day. Every day we sin at least once, and God forgives us for way worse than um, anything that anyone could have really done to you. And if God is willing to forgive us, you should never think that you're higher than God's grace and not be able to forgive someone else for something that they've done to you. If you are able to ask for forgiveness to our Father, whom created you, then there should be nothing holding you back to apologize to someone that you've said hurtful things to. Um, God is Almighty. So if you can go to the Almighty Father and face Him with everything you've done, then facing whoever you've said some words to that you shouldn't have should be a cakewalk. And if He can forgive us, like I said, we should be able to forgive others for such minor things compared to everything that we've done to our lives to God. So the most powerful words spoken, and this is my opinion, are I support you, I'm here for you, I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, I will pray for you, and may God bless you. Those are the most powerful words, I think, in my definition, that could be spoken to someone and give them comfort and lift them up and show them kindness, and that you care and help encourage them. And um the words that we have, if you think about the power that we wield and the impact that we can make if we become more intentional with our words. Words have the power and the ability to help, to heal, to hinder, to hurt, to humiliate, and to humble. So we have to be mindful to use our words to help people, encourage them, help them heal, help them get through stressful times, Let them know that they are not alone, that they will be okay, and be mindful to not use our words to tear people down because we have enough in the world that is tearing us apart. We need to help each other pull together, no matter what walks of life we come from, how we grew up, which part of the world we're in. We got to help each other, talk to each other, and lift each other up for sure. So I'm sure I missed a lot of notes. Um, I do want to pray though. I'd like to pray before I go into my chats that I missed, because I really feel like this was something that needed to be said. So if y'all don't mind, we're going to pray real quick. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for helping me give these words of life from you out of your gospel out into the world to help people to not be divided and not hate each other, but to pull together and love each other and encourage each other and help each other through these difficult times, to comfort each other and help heal through everything that we've all been through over these last couple years or even longer for some people. I want to thank you for giving us a wonderful, wonderful book that helps us to show how to use our words and how to love each other and how to care and lift each other up. I ask that you forgive us of all of our sins that we have done, both knowingly and unknowingly, to each other, to you. And I want to thank you so much for guiding us in these harsh times and protecting us and showing us the way to navigate through everything in life. And I ask that you continue to share this word and help people to shut out the negativity and the words that hurt and hinder people, and to choose their words to give people life and help them to shine brightly in the world. I thank you so much and I ask you in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, now I'm so sorry. I'm probably missed a lot of notes, chats, and I'm going to go back and see what I missed. Maybe because my laptop's being funny. Okay. I said hi to Towels. Does anyone have any questions also while I'm skimming through my chat? Um, Survival Game, hello. Thank you for joining me. The Bible Quiz channel, thank you for joining me. Furry Subwoofer, thank you for joining me. Lowrider Gaming, hello. Thank you for joining me. Um, yes, survival game. The way that we speak to our children becomes their inner voice. That is absolutely true. Absolutely. If you had a childhood where they were critical and they were constantly tearing you down as an adult, you have no self esteem and you have no courage to go out and try anything because you just think you're going to fail. But if you have parents that constantly tell you you can do anything, anything that you can put your mind to, you tend to believe that and you strive to try to continue to hit those goals and push and move forward and move up. Hi, Red Scout. Hi, Will. I'm glad that you're here. I don't get to chat with you as often as I used to. Let me see. First time here, wish I could stay. Red Scout. Dig Deeper Ministries. Yes. Yep. It can be generational. Red Scout, that is true. You can be honest. You can be honest and hurtful at the same time, but to be mindful of how you say things, there's a difference. Um, you can still tell people the truth that may hurt, but you don't have to say it in a nasty way, if you know what I mean. VP, I know you watch cartoons every day and in the evening. Um, I agree with you that you shouldn't change who you are for the sake of feelings, but you should still be mindful in how you speak things. Sorry, guys, I'm reading. Give me a second. I think I'm almost caught up here. Hi, Joe. Thanks for coming by. It is definitely past bedtime for some people. Will, I'm going to put you in my prayers for sure. And I will actually connect with you outside of YouTube. Be ready. I see you in there. Um, okay. I think I am caught up. Um, I don't know who all's still in here. If anybody's still in here, this isn't my normal fun live feed, but it was definitely some things that I wanted to say um, because we really do need to pull together and help each other. Um, just make sure you support each other. We're gonna need it. It's about to be an even more bumpy road than it was before. Um, Way bumpier. People may not realize, but there's a lot going on in the world, and they only see what's right in front of their faces. Um, with the media, with the news telling them, but there's so much more across the world, across the oceans, that's going on that a lot of people just don't realize. They don't tell you everything on the news. You have to find it yourself. And we're not the only ones struggling. We're not the only ones that need to hear words of encouragement. We are not the only ones that need help, but we are all in this together. We are we are one. We need to unite as such under God and help each other. Um, at 9:30, I'm going to also be jumping over to Vision Preparedness. Vision, can you put your link in here for me, please? I am not going to be able to access it as quickly as I normally would. He actually is having a very special guest, and they are going to be talking about um, some medical items and some medical preparedness. So I encourage you to tune in for that. I believe that Be Ready may be going live tomorrow to share some encouraging words as well. Um, Thank you, Brian. You're getting quick. Um, Will, definitely reach out to me. I haven't heard from you a while. You've been on my mind the last few days. So definitely reach out. I'd love to get an update and see how everything is going. Um, if I don't answer you right away, I will definitely answer you tomorrow. Uh, Anything anyone else wants to discuss in the last 10 minutes that we have, or any questions? Um, Thank you for bearing with me with my ums and my scattered mind. I had a headache today and was actually struggling to come on and do this live, but it seems that every time I get a headache or my computer blitzes out, it is usually a message that truly needs to get out. And I refuse to let the devil win. I'm not going to let him stop me from getting words out that need to get out. I'm not going to let him hinder me from helping other people. And I've gone through quite a few battles with my laptop and my headaches and the weather and the power going out because of storms. And God's on my side. So he can bring it. And I'm going to keep pushing because if God's on my side, there's nothing that can stand against me. Um, Remember that, y'all. No matter what comes at you, God's on your side. God is with you. You'll get through it. Might be rough, but you'll get through it. So keep pushing for sure. Um, Never give up. You give up, he wins. Never stop speaking truth and speaking life. Because if you do, he wins for sure. Don't let him win. He's already lost. Technically, he's already lost, but he's going to keep trying to cause problems. But like I said, armor of God, God's with you. What can be against you? So, with that being said, I'm going to, I think, go ahead and, oh, yep. That is true, Red Scout. That is true. Every one of us. Every one of us, who we were, where we were going, where we would end up, what we would do. Our path is written. Yep, that's absolutely true. He did make everything, you're right. Yep, and it's amazing. Everything he made. There's so much beauty in the world that people need to pause and just go look at. It's amazing. Had an amazing trip with Be Ready today. That the nature was absolutely beautiful. Just got to take time to go check it out. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and jump off if there's no more questions so that I have time to um, jump over to Vision Preparedness live stream. Any more questions? Got maybe 4 minutes. Questions, comments, concerns? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Anything you'd like me to talk about in the future? Is this a good time for you for me to be on? I think it's a great time for me because I'm not at work. Anything that concerns you? Any prayer requests? Are there any other prayer requests that I can add to my notebook here? You're welcome, Vision. Thank you. Well, I've got my phone right here. I should get it in just a second. As soon as I turn off my do not disturb. All right. Thank you. I was just going to ask for his link one more time. So if y'all can jump over there and support Vision Preparedness, I would greatly appreciate it. If you can't stay for the whole entire thing, at least stay for 5 minutes and give him a thumbs up. Share him out if you can, because he's got some really great info as far as preparedness and medical and survival. He's trying to get out there, and he's just an awesome person all the way around. And he definitely needs some support to get out there because he's awesome. Um, then tomorrow when Brian does his live, definitely help support him if you could because he's amazing too. The both of them are like big brothers to me. So, my protectors, my bodyguards, you might say, because they are definitely at least a foot taller than me. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to jump over to Vision, and I want to thank you all. You're more than welcome to email me any prayer requests at mymotherspark@gmail.com, and I will surely add them to my prayer list. And I hope you all have a blessed night. Thank you very much. Good night.